Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we're giving ourselves an edumacation on the Pokédex. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. You know, Patrick, I've been thinking a lot about this axiom I once heard that has proven true in my life, which is there is no song with hand claps in it that is bad. All songs with hand claps are good songs.
Okay. All right. Were you thinking of a specific song with hand claps? Have you recently encountered a song with hand claps and you were like, yeah, still true?
I recently listened to the song That Thing You Do for the first time in a very long song.
Great hand claps.
Great hand claps, great song. And then that got me thinking, I personally cannot think of a bad song that has hand claps.
What about the Friends theme song?
Great song.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm just trying to test it. I'm probing for weaknesses.
I know.
What about If You're Happy and You Know It?
Clap Your Hands. Great song.
Yeah. Oh,
crowd
okay,
pleaser.
Right. Okay. Real good with kids. It's a great
absolutely.
Song with kids.
I suppose I'm willing to be proven wrong. So if any of our listeners can think of a bad song with hand claps, please let me know.
And this has to be like a fundamental part of the song. It can't just be like a live recording of people clapping along with something.
That is such a good
doesn't
point.
Count.
Yeah, it also can't be like a purposefully bad song that has hand claps on it.
Okay. Well, and because if it is a purposefully bad song and it is bad, then it's successful, right?
Oh, you know what? That's a really great point.
Speaking of things that are so bad they're successful, my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch. Would you like to borrow it? You can certainly get on the list to do so. All you got to do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. And give us a mailing address so we have a place where we can send you my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch. You play it for as long as you want. You send it back. I pay for postage both ways. It is the perfect borrowing program. Mark, do you think it becomes less perfect because there may be a copy of Untitled Goose Game in there instead of Sonic Forces?
I think well established that the Sonic Forces borrowing program is perfect, and so Untitled Goose Game can't impeach that perfection.
I mean that's a great point. I feel bad, morally deficient for questioning the perfection of the program. So just look, get on the list. I'm not currently going into the post office, but I assure you someday soon, and I'm sort of expecting like pretty soon, just because like, you know, I feel like cases are coming back down a little bit, getting a little less panicky about going indoors.
Is 2022 we haven't talked about this, so I'm kind of springing it on you. But I think we'll be celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Sonic Forces borrowing program.
Here's the thing: the original sheet of paper that was tracking the loanings out of Sonic Forces did not come back with it most recently. So I don't know when I first sent out a copy of Sonic Forces.
If only there was a recorded history of what we do on this show.
There's no way to know.
Well, another thing you can do is you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate it so much. We say it every week. We say it twice a week, but it doesn't make it any less true. We really do.
We sure do.
We really do appreciate it when you leave a 5-star review for the show or promote the show in any way that you can. We love doing the show. We love getting feedback on the show. So thank you so much for doing that. If you leave us a 5-star review on the US Apple Podcast Store, we see it. We will give you a shout out on the show. If you leave us a review anywhere else, or you promote the show some other way, definitely let us know. Hit us up on Twitter, send us an email, and we would love to give you a shout out for that.
Also, it is we are coming up on March, which is a month in the year. this year, March is Kirby month. We're getting a brand new Kirby game, which means we're going to be talking about Kirby all month long. So we would love it if you would send us the title of Kirby games that you would like us to play, or if you have any Kirby memories that you would like to share. Send those along to us. Email us Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And, participate in the conversation. I'm really looking forward to it, but I feel like there's a lot of Kirby out there, and so we need a little bit of guidance. Mark, speaking of things that we need guidance on, should we get into our topic today?
Yeah, let's do it. What if I had said no? If you like,
well, then I would play the ending music and we'd be done.
I thought it was nice for you to give me an out though.
What we're doing today is I consider us, if not experts, I consider us knowledgeable about many things in Nintendo's stable of excellent video game franchises, right?
We're willing to talk about it like we know.
we're willing to.
Yeah, we're willing to talk about it like we know what we're talking about, if nothing
Yes.
else. We lead with confidence.
Yes, where it is most difficult, I would say, in all of Nintendo for us to lead with confidence is in discussing Pokemon. Which isn't to say that we've not played Pokemon games. You and I have both completed multiple Pokemon games. We've purchased several for the Switch. We have, it's not a zero part of our life, but like neither of us have ever like played the game competitively, or I never went through a period where like I watched the TV show or anything. So it's a spot in the Nintendo solar system that I just feel like is totally alien to me.
Yeah, absolutely. For me as well.
So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna kind of go over some things that we do and do not know about Pokemon and the Pokédex, mostly revolving around we're going to randomly pick Pokemon and see if we know what they are. So there's going to be a lot of us being wrong in this episode, and I just want people to be ready for that. So like if you're a big Pokemon fan and you can't stand to listen to two idiots not know what the Pokemon are, I'm sorry, that's what this is. But we are going to try to educate ourselves in this process, right? This is not about celebrating our ignorance, but it's about converting ignorance into knowledge, right?
And there are a lot of Pokemon to know. In fact, maybe
Yes.
a disputed amount of Pokemon.
Why don't you go into that for a second?
Okay, so we are going to be using as our base list. There's a list of Pokemon on the US Wikipedia page that has a total, they total, let me see here, like 905 Pokemon.
Right. Which we know to be a little bit in conflict with the 898 Pokemon that are, listed elsewhere.
Right. So where that discrepancy comes from, I couldn't tell you. But it's interesting because the reason we're using this list is it doesn't have photos. And so we can, what we're going to do is we're going to use a random number generator. We're going to pick a Pokemon from this list, do our best to guess what this Pokemon is.
Right.
And then we will turn to authoritative sources to educate ourselves.
And, if we get it pretty close, like I'm going to celebrate those moments. I'm going to feel good about every time we're even remotely close to knowing what the thing is. Because I think we can do it. I'm sure there are a lot of names in here that are going to be wholly unrecognizable to us and unguessable. But I think we're also going to. I think there are probably going to be some that we just flat out know. Right?
Yeah. I'm praying. I'm praying so. Patrick, can I tell you another thing that I personally am in conflict with the Pokédex? Because on the one, so looking at this, it counts individual evolutions as different Pokemon. And on the one hand, I understand.
You mentioned this before we started recording.
I know it really for whatever reason it bugs me because on the one hand I understand it. the Pokemon is evolving. It is from one Pokemon form to another Pokemon form. And in the Pokédex, you're trying to, have established that you have seen or captured every type. And so that makes sense that it would be included. But to me, they're not different Pokemon. They're different. It's like I'm the same person I was when I was younger. Do Pokemon work differently?
No, Mark,
Am I not
you're,
understanding the way Pokemon work?
You are not a You have not yet evolved. Okay, you are one of these Pokemon with no evolutions, which I know exist. There are some Pokemon that don't evolve, and you are one of them, and I am another one of them. We have to look to something like a caterpillar and how it evolves into a butterfly. And is that the same animal? Like, the same consciousness is moving with it? Absolutely, but it's two different animals.
That is such a brilliant example. I almost think we should quit right now.
Well, but before we either quit or start trying to describe Pokemon by name only, I wanted to see if there was just like a base level of knowledge about the Pokemon series that we either share or don't share or feel like we should know but don't. There are 8 generations of Pokemon game, right? Like mainline Pokemon. Do you think, Mark, that you would be able to name them?
No, I don't. I think maybe collectively together we might be able to.
Do you want to try?
Yeah, let's do it briefly.
Yeah. Let's not dwell on anything for too long. And we may do like the first couple and then like work backwards. But so the first are red and blue, right? Red, blue, and then yellow. And then and then is it silver and gold?
Do you know what? I don't know. Let's work backwards.
I don't know either.
Let's work backwards.
Okay, backwards. Go. Okay, most recent.
Sword and Shield.
Right, and then before that was Sun and Moon.
Yep. And before that was X and Y?
Or Ruby and Sapphire.
Do we pull the
no,
plug?
We don't. Yeah, I think we pull the plug. I mean, this is what we're doing. I know there's Black and White, and I know there's Black and White 2. So like Sapphire, Gold.
But I don't count those as like different generations. They're like sequels, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Red and blue.
Yep.
Gold and silver.
Okay.
Or ruby sapphire.
Ooh, Ruby Sapphire way earlier than I was pitching.
Diamond pearl.
Okay.
Black and white.
Mm-hmm.
X and Y.
Got it.
Sun and Moon. Sword and Shield.
So were Black and White 2 the like X and Y style remakes of Black and White? You don't know. Why am I asking?
No. Black and White 2 I think were direct sequels.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. So a lot we don't know here, and I'm glad we looked it up. I also know that there are people who play Pokemon games that have the entire like type chart in their head. They know what's weak against what. And Mark, every time I play one of these games, I need to have that chart like pulled up on my phone.
Same.
Because like, what is grass strong against? I don't know.
Right.
Rocks, maybe rocks. I don't know. Is that right?
I don't know either.
Right. Okay. All of which is to say is there's a lot that we don't know. Mark, would you like to pull our first Pokemon?
Yes.
Randomly?
Yes.
From a pile of 905 Pokemon?
Our first Pokemon is number 766. Lucky Passimian.
Passimian. Okay. So we got to figure out what Passimian is?
Yeah.
Can you spell it?
Passiimian.
Okay. So the simian part of it makes me think that it's a monkey-like in some way. Yeah. Passimian. Boy, is it like to me like that feels like it's a peaceful monkey of some kind.
Yes, but I also think that it is I'm gonna guess that it's an evolution.
Sure. Yeah, that it is in the chain of. Do you think this is a final evolution, or do you think it's like the middle, or
I think it is the end. I think it is the end.
okay? Uh,
It also reminds me of like a what is that fruit? Like a persimmon?
yeah, persimmon. Yeah.
So and that's like an that's orange, right? So I think this is an orange monkey.
Okay. All right. An orange monkey, and so therefore maybe like fire type.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great.
Or I think it's either
mm,
fire type or like grass type because it is nature,
Oh, sure,
right?
because
Like
it's
it's
a
like a
fruit.
plant.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah. Let's. Can we look it up now and see what it actually looks like and what it actually is?
Yes.
Okay. So Pessimian. Um. Okay. Well, so it's a fighting monkey. Um. Okay, considered to be the counterpart of Oranguru, Orange Guru, maybe
Well, I think it's like oranguru because I think it's. I'm
Oranguru.
guessing it's also a monkey.
But like he is holding a little fruit, like
Okay.
in the art that I'm looking at here.
So I'm counting
He's
that as like half a win.
yeah, half a win. He's a fighting type Pokemon. He's a lemur, so not technically a monkey.
Okay.
Um, but technically, as far as Pokemon go, um, yeah, and there's really nothing orange about him. He's like black and white with like green accents.
Okay, so I'm going to give us half a point for getting that it was somewhat monkey-like,
Yeah, yep.
and that's it. That's it. That's
Um,
I think that's as far as
yeah.
we got.
All right, great. You're keeping track of our points here?
Yep.
Great, I love it. All right, I am now picking a random Pokemon from the pile of 905. It is number 267. 267 is Beautifly. Beautifly.
I think my first instinct is obviously a butterfly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I do know Butterfree, and Butterfree is a butterfly.
Uh-huh.
That's like a Generation 1 butterfly. So, but Beautifly, like, what else could it be? Is it just, here's what I'm sort of picturing. In A Bug's Life, when they go to the circus and there are the two, like, flies, like, eat and poop. Um, and they're like cat or not cat calling, but they're like heckling the circus performers. I'm picturing those flies. I'm picturing flies, not butterflies.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe like a little bit more aggressive, do you think? Do you think this is another fighting type?
Oh boy. I mean I would guess it's an insect type, right? That is a
Oh,
type of
sure, yeah.
Pokemon. So but it is possible that it's like a bird, that it's like a pretty bird, you know.
Beautifly. Oh, so like it's not like a play on butterfly. It's more talking about its like movement.
Yeah, that it flies. But I think you're probably right that it is a play on fly and that it is an insect of some kind. Um, I think you're probably right, and like a butterfly makes the most sense. But I just feel like we already have Butterfree, and that's one that I know already.
Yeah, but I also think that just like there are multiple like monkey like
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon, I think there are
Sure.
probably multiple. I feel like we should plant our flag in butterfly. That feels
Okay.
safest to me.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go for it. Let's look it up. Beautifly. Uh, Oh, I think we got pretty close here. It's definitely butterfly like. Its name is literally it is a butterfly Pokemon. So I think we nailed it. But it's got that like kind of like long nose that like curls back up.
Yeah,
What am I
almost
thinking
like
of?
a I guess I want to. It's not like a hummingbird because it is more curly, but I imagine it
Yeah.
is functionally very similar.
Yeah, that's that. Yes, so that it can like get in and like suck the juices from inside
Yep.
whatever it's doing. Okay, all right.
So what do you think?
Um,
Do you have any guesses on what its attacks are?
I mean, no. I imagine it does something with its wings to like lower defenses or something, like just hit you with its wings or like shoot a gust of air at you. Um, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would have like a poisoning ability, right? Because it's too pretty of an insect.
I
I
agree.
don't know what do you think? What kind of attacks do you think it has?
I think it's gonna do some like wing action, gusts of wind, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of cool looking. I think I like it better than the Butterfree.
It's like bejeweled. It has multiple colors
Yes.
on it in its the decoration of its wings. I like this one a lot.
And when you say bejeweled, that is like jewel tones, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Almost looking a little bit like Samus Aran in
Yes, in
Metroid
Metroid
Dread.
Dread. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. Also, the nose is very Gonzo-like. Gonzo the Muppet.
Gonzo is just a hook, though. It doesn't like spiral like back into
I
itself.
feel like it could if it wanted to.
You think that Gonzo could do that and is choosing not to?
I do. I think at all times he is using a little bit of, like brain power to will it to not curl up all the way. But that's just my headcanon. I'm not trying to tell other people how to live their lives. Patrick, I'm giving us half a point for
All right.
Beautifly. Our next Pokemon,
Oh
number
man.
250,
Okay.
it is Ho-Oh. Ho-OH.
HO-OH.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this some sort of like reflection mirror Pokemon?
Yeah, because it's there's definitely like a palindrome type thing going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Um, or is this like a Santa Claus esque Pokemon? Because we know that there are like Pokemon that look like people ish, right? Like we got a Mr. Mime.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
I think it could be like what if it is a Santa Claus with two heads, right? And so that's the ho and then the o, or maybe it's like one
yeah.
head and two faces.
No, I think two heads is better. I mean, first of all, Mark, Santa Claus with two heads is a perfect pitch for something. I don't know what it is. If if we ever end up doing like Halloween again, and we can do a group costume, let's you and I be two-headed Santa Claus, okay?
Okay,
It's too good. I
that's
don't want to let the idea go.
that's a deal for sure.
um here's my fear, Mark. Here's my fear is that the name is misleading and it is some sort of like mythical bird or like giant like undescribable creature
Oh,
that it
interesting.
has no like natural analogs.
And maybe like Ho-Oh is, first of all, who knows if I'm pronouncing that correctly? And
Right.
and second, yeah, like maybe it's like a battle cry or something, right? Like almost like an
Mm-hmm.
onomatopoeia for like a screeching bird or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's Thundercats is what it is.
It is.
Or I mean, or is it very close to being uh-oh, right?
So it's like a broken
So
egg,
or it's like a mistake of some kind.
spilt milk. It is.
Yes, yeah, or like a shattered glass, something that was dropped. Okay, so I think I think we have three ideas right now. It is either a two-headed Santa Claus, um, a mythical style creature with no natural analog, or a mistake of some kind. Let's look up Ho-Oh.
Oh, Patrick, you are never going to believe what it is. It's a big
Is
old
it
bird.
It's a big old bird.
Yes.
Okay. What is this thing?
Ho-Oh's feathers glow in 7 colors depending on the angle at which they are struck by light. These feathers are said to bring happiness to the bears. This Pokemon is said to live at the foot of a rainbow. It is a big bird with a fat belly that has like an orange tail that turns into yellow at the very tips, and its wings are red, white, and green.
I'm also reading here. Ho-Oh has a mythical power to resurrect the dead. It's the only known Pokemon to learn Sacred Flame.
Oh, so it has that in common with Santa Claus then.
Well, two-headed Santa Claus for sure. So I think this thing is basically a phoenix, right? Or at least like has some phoenix qualities to it. I'm going to say we get 0 points on that.
Are you kidding? No way. We're giving ourselves half a point. You
Half?
said it was like a big mythical bird. And sure, we cruised right past that to get to,
That's true.
you know, like broken clock or something. But by uttering those words, half a point.
A full half a point. That's that is remarkable. Okay, that's a cool looking Pokemon. This thing is like it's a legendary Pokemon.
That makes so much sense.
Okay. All right. So, and I guess that does sort of fall along the line of it's a mythical creature with no natural analogs. Even though a bird is a pretty natural analog, I think you're still right to give us the half point. Mark, I'm learning so much. Also, it's a fire flying type. I'm picking a new number for us, and therefore a new Pokemon, number 560. 560 is, of course, the Pokemon called Scrafty.
This is hairy. This is a hairy Pokemon, I think.
It's definitely a hairy one. I mean, Scrafty it makes me think of crafty.
Uh-huh. Do you think it's like a scheming Pokemon or like a knitting Pokemon?
No, I think scheming more than knitting. I think it is crafty in that it is wily, right? What kind of animal do you think falls into the category of like?
I want to say like a raccoon or something.
Ooh, that's so good. I was gonna say cat.
Both, definitely. Both like furry. Both, you know, you see them like working their paws in a crafty manner.
Yes. So I don't think this is I'm really leaning on like the crafty part of it here. I don't think it has like any sort of like elemental quality to it, right? Like it's not fiery, it's not watery, it's not like anything like that. I also don't think it's like a fighting type, right?
Do you know what? Okay, so for some reason when I first heard like the Scraf, it made me think of Scruff. But yeah, so that's why I thought hairy. But now I'm thinking like, well, is Scrafty? Is it more like rough and tumble?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Scruff. I don't know. As soon as we say Scruff, I think of McGruff and I think of the crime dog. So I'm gonna say that I think this is a dog of some kind.
Okay.
In a trench coat, warning kids to stay away from down power lines.
And so is it like a psychic type then? Using its mind to ward people away from down power lines?
Psychic or possibly like dark. Like I think there's a darkness here. I think there is, because dark is a type, right? Like there's like an evil type of Pokemon.
Okay, so we are going with Scrafty is a dog who uses its mind to warn people about down power lines, but in a way where, since there are no down power lines, it is paralyzing to them. Does that seem accurate to you?
Yes. I think that's right. Mark, let's look up Scrafty.
Okay.
The Pokemon. Wow. I am blown away by this. It is like a weird lizard with a mohawk.
So lizard with a mohawk and pants that don't fit.
Yes.
It has to hold up its pants.
Yeah, and it is doing so, holding up its pants with both hands. It
Yeah,
doesn't even have them like bunched in one hand.
you're right. Like, I'm calling them pants. It could be a potato sack for all we know. It looks like it's
Yeah,
about to
yeah,
participate in
yeah.
a potato sack race. That's the kind of holding up it's doing.
But it has like a cape. It looks like that it's wearing of the same material.
It's a
And
choice.
yeah. So this is the second or this is the first evolution of the. It evolves from Scraggy, so from Scraggy to Scrafty, and it is a fighting type. I feel bad about that.
So we also said that it's a dark fighting type. Looking
That's
at
true.
the
That's
list,
true.
which I think was what we were saying about.
I was saying there was darkness, but I also specifically said not fighting.
Okay, okay. Well, do you think that the reason it's holding up its pants is because it is crafty? It makes its own pants, and it's a work in progress. He got like interrupted and had to go fight.
I mean, oh, geez, possibly. Let's see if in the anime description here on Bulbapedia helps us out at all. No, I don't know. I don't think we can draw any conclusions about its craftiness other than, like you say, it does appear to be wearing pants. I'm gonna check out the Scraggy for a second just so we can
Give ourselves a base level.
understand the evolution here. So when it is smaller, it looks like the pants fit it. Like the pants fit it just fine. And then when it evolves, the pants no longer fit.
So it's like a now check my math here, but it's like a reverse Incredible Hulk situation.
Yeah, okay. All right, hold on. Yeah, that math checks out. Why has no one done a reverse Incredible Hulk?
That's another great Halloween costume if we ever can do that again. I'm giving us, Patrick, half a point.
Mark, that feels overly generous. This thing is like a lizard. We were saying a dog who warns people against getting too near down power lines. I think the only part of this that we got right is that there's some darkness here.
Yeah, that's worth half a point.
All right, half a point.
All right, up next, our next Pokemon, number 325. Lucky number 325, Spoink.
Spoink?
Spoink. Now, I have to
Yeah.
tell you immediately, Spoink makes me think of like a character that Eddie Deason would play in Grease or something like that. He's the very skinny, overly nerdy, I think is what I'm going to say, is how I would describe Eddie Deason.
So it makes me think of Squiggy, right, from Laverne and Shirley.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I think we're sort of in like the same-ish neighborhood, right? Like we're dealing with
We're orbiting the same idea.
Yeah, that's right. However, when I think about it for even a second longer than that, Spoink must be a pig.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because of the oink.
Yeah, and
right? Like,
and probably like spam and oink gives us Spoink.
Totally. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta be. There are electric types, right? I'm going to say that Spoink is a portmanteau of spark and oink.
Yes, that makes so much sense. I'm 100% on board.
Okay, so do you think that its nostrils, the nostrils of its little pig nose, are like an outlet that you would like plug something into?
Uh-huh. I do think that.
Yeah. Okay. This is so I think this is it. Like I've never seen this Pokemon before, but I'm guessing that we actually are gonna nail this one.
All right, we're looking up Spoink.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. Not quite.
Ooh,
it is a pig.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like okay. Forgive me for what I'm about to say, but I feel like the best way to describe this is like a sperm pig with a little spring tail.
Sure. I mean, it's taking so it's not spark and pig, it is spring and oink.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, it's the lower half of its body is the curly tail, but like turned into a spring, and the rest of it is like a gray pig with like wings, or like little flippers.
Yeah, they're like
what
little,
are these arms?
They're like little flippers, and it has a pink pearl, nestled between its ears.
Yeah. This thing evolves to a Grumpig, at level 32. So we will look at the Grumpig in just a second. But we totally failed the type here because it is a psychic type Pokemon.
Right, which is so interesting that it has a spring for a butt and yet is a psychic type.
Yeah. It's very weird because even just like looking at its design, it almost looks like a light bulb, right? With like the
Oh,
curly
yeah,
Q
it
tail
does a
on the
little bit.
bottom, that you would screw that into a light fixture. But yeah, it is not an electric pig. We did not get that part right.
No.
Let's take a look at the Grumpig and see what happens to it when it changes. Now this I would not have predicted. It like grows a body.
Yeah, it
It
kind of
grows
still
like
has
a bipedal body.
it still has the curly tail, but it's not so much a spring, like it's not balancing itself on it. It is standing upright.
Yeah.
I also have to say that Grumpig sounds like it should be a character in a rare developed Nintendo game.
Some kind of grumpy pig.
Yes.
This I gotta say, this character does not appear to be grumpy to me. He looks like he's a jovial character.
Mm-hmm. He does look jovial. You know, Patrick, for Spoink, I'm gonna give us half a point.
Okay, all right, that's tough but fair. We look, we got pig.
We
right?
got pig.
He's definitely a pig.
Yep.
All right, Mark, are you ready to give us our next Pokemon?
I am. So our next number is 640. Number 640 is... Oh, I scrolled the wrong direction now to go all the way back. 640.
Oh, no.
Verizon? Is that right? I can't possibly be pronouncing that right. It's Virizion. Verizion?
Verizion, yes.
Okay.
Verizion.
Okay, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. And because there is a little bit of color coding here, and I think this will help us out. So Verizion is a legendary.
Okay, all right. So we're dealing with some sort of dragon-y thing.
Yeah.
Verizion. The V in there makes me think that there's something like restorative about it, or like related to life abstractly. Or maybe it's like maybe it's grass type. I don't know. I feel wholly out of my depth here with Verizion.
So it makes me think of like vision. Like it is some it has some sort of like sixth sense, some ability to see beyond what we can see beyond.
So you think psychic of some kind?
I do. I almost wonder if it's like not a mist, but you know in like ethereal. What I was thinking of immediately was in Muppet Christmas Carol, and there's one of the ghosts is like this tiny little head on this floaty body, almost like the blanket character in The Brave Little Toaster. I think that's what I'm envisioning a little bit.
Or like Jack Skellington's dog in The Nightmare Before
Zero.
Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Mark right there with Zero doesn't know the name of the Ghost of Christmas Past. I can buy that there is an ethereal, a floaty, a sort of misty quality to this probably psychic type Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to guess that this is one of those Pokemon that looks a little bit too human for comfort.
Oh, sure.
Like, has like hands and like a face.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, should we look up Verizion?
Let's look up Verizion.
Ooh, boy.
This is this is a grass type fighting type, and it looks like a horse.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like an elegant deer,
mm-hmm.
or like impala, because it is wearing boots. These very kind of like sleek. It has a very almost futuristic look to it, but very regal, like you would expect.
Yeah, regal, but also. Mark, are you picking up any hints of drag in this Pokemon?
Yeah, I mean, Verizion is a glamazon for sure.
Okay, all right.
She's
All right, good.
stomping the runway in her boots.
Absolutely.
All 4 of her legs, all 4 of her hooves. Yeah, it definitely looks like, because it's almost like it's wearing this headpiece that looks like bike handles, but
Yes.
everything is like latex almost.
Yeah, totally. There's like a shininess to the green, to like the sort of lime green that I find both like, it feels like it's both smooth and artificial, but like is also like natural, like at the same time. Like it's a very confusing image that I can't quite wrap my head around.
It is
Virizion is a stag or antelope type quadrupedal Pokemon that is primarily green.
okay. I mean,
Okay.
fair. So I am going to give us half a point.
Give us half a point, because I at first I said that it was that the V made me think that it was like verdant or had some like healing or natural quality to it.
Yeah, we talked ourselves out of it, but I still
Right.
think
I think we were there.
I think we got half a point.
Yeah, I think half a point is probably pretty good there. All right, Mark, I am queuing up our next Pokemon. It is number 83. So this is part of the like original run of Pokemon. We may actually know this one. But let's not speak too soon. Number 83 is Farfetch'd.
Far-fetched.
So Farfetch'd, I think I do know this one. This is like it's a bird, right? This is the bird that has that carries a leek, like an onion as a sword, right?
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't there was a like a Galarian variant of it that called Surfetched or something like that.
Yep.
And
And
that was just
it
like,
has really strong eyebrows.
yes, yeah, we're talking like Peter Gallagher strong eyebrows.
Yes.
Mark, is this one that we even need to look up?
Well, I think we should, just so we can, I mean, trust but verify, right?
Yes, no, absolutely. You're right, of course. So Farfetch'd.
Oh yeah, we nailed it. Farfetch'd is a gray little bird with angry eyebrows that are very thick,
Mhm.
Peter Gallagher-esque eyebrows, holding a leek.
Yep. I don't think we talked about type, but it's a fighting type, right? Or flying, I guess. It's only fighting when it's the Galarian type.
You know, Patrick, I'm going to give us half a point.
We got docked half a point for for jumping to the Galarian Farfetch'd.
I think so.
I think that's fair.
I think it's only fair. So, all right, I'm going to pick our next one, which is excuse me. I'm going to use the random number generator to generate
right.
our next one. And it is number 446, Munchlax.
Now, I'm immediately uncomfortable here.
Laxative. First thing that comes to mind. Can't get around
Absolutely.
it. It's
Laxative and someone eating the laxative.
going
So
in
either,
and going out.
yeah, either eating the laxative itself or eating the result of the laxative. Either way, I'm uncomfortable with this Pokemon.
So,
It's got a big mouth, whatever it is.
it's got a big mouth. Yeah, definitely.
Does it, Mark? Does it also have a big behind?
I don't think so. I feel like Pokemon sometimes are not that symmetrical. So I think it may be big head, little body.
Okay, big head, little body. Does that make you does that like summon the image of an animal of any kind, or
I think it's a rock. I'm thinking it's like a ground type, and I'm thinking it's like the big rock monsters from the Neverending Story type thing.
the rock biters?
Yeah. A Munchlax.
Munchlax. Yeah, okay. I can get on board with that. Is there like a pun or a play on words here? Munchlax.
The only other thing well, do you think it's mud? Like
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Munchlax makes it sound like munch is like substituting for a different syllable, in the word that ends in lax. But I'm having a hard time even thinking of what words end in lax.
it's because we started out with thinking like X-Lax, and so it's all that
Right.
can consume our mind.
Okay, well, so I think a rock biter esque stone Pokemon with a big head and a little body that doesn't resemble an animal, like a specific animal. I think that's where we are. We think it's ground type or like rock type. Um, do we know the difference? No, we don't. Here we go, Mark. Let's look it up.
Okay.
Munchlax, what are you? Seeing the Munchlax, seeing the picture of the Munchlax, I find myself confused still.
So it is a little bit like a bear crossed with a rabbit that is wearing a muumuu.
Okay, here's the crucial piece of information that we should have intuited. We weren't applying our knowledge of things that we do know about Pokemon. This is a Snorlax before it evolves into a Snorlax.
Yeah, that is a big miss on our part.
That's a huge miss on our part. So the Snorlax, obviously a giant bear-like creature who is just almost always sleeping. This Snorlax, this is the Munchlax. This is the version of the thing that doesn't just want to sleep; it wants to eat.
Yeah, and like Munchlax, okay, I mean, maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but it is kind of funny to look at because its fur kind of drags on the ground like a dress, so it's almost like when it evolves, it's just filling all the space it has in these clothes.
No, I think you're nailing it. I think probably what happens is the Munchlax just eats a whole bunch. The Snorlax is hibernating and the Munchlax is the bear in the fall, like eating as much food as it can so it can survive the winter.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I kind of go back and forth on this one, but I think I'm going to give us half a point because Munchlax
Mm-hmm.
does have like a very prominent, like happy mouth that is big because you can tell that it's ready to eat.
And its body is smaller than it is as a Snorlax, which is a notably big body. So I think we nailed it, and or at least half a point, obviously. I am relieved to not have any sort of laxative
100%.
part of this
Yep.
character. I mean,
Yep.
it's that's a great weight lifted from me. Okay, our next Pokemon is Pokemon number 183, Meryl.
Meryl.
So I think I know what Meryl is.
And it's spelled Marill. Because I know everybody's immediately
That's right.
jumping to Meryl Streep. Not the case.
It is not Meryl Streep and it is not Meryl from Metal Gear Solid. This is a Pokemon called Meryl, Marill. So I think this is a round blue mouse thing, and its tail is like a little zigzaggy with like a ball on the end of it.
You sound really, really confident about that. I'm curious, is that just something you know, or have you interacted with Meryl in a game or something?
So not in a game, but I had a friend in high school who liked the Pokemon Meryl. Maybe he had like a toy of it or something, or like a picture of it up in his locker or something like that. I just remember hearing hearing him say Meryl, which I think is probably how it says it in the cartoon.
I have no notes. I mean, you sound so confident. I believe that you know what you're talking about. Let's go to the board. Is Meryl a little blue mouse thing with a diagonalist tail?
All right. So Meryl, yeah, I think I nailed it. It is a small round rat thing. It is a water type. I guess we didn't touch on the types. It is a water type and fairy type. Probably because I missed those, we should probably dock us half a point there. But yeah, otherwise I think I described it pretty well.
I think you totally nailed it. Also, whenever it's in these early hundreds, for some reason I'm like, I think I might know this one. I don't. I didn't know Meryl, but I always have hope. All right, yeah, but because we didn't get the type right, unfortunately, gonna have to dock a few fractions of a point. So I'm awarding us half a point for Meryl, but you should really feel good about that.
Thank you. I do. Meryl evolves to Azurill at
Azumarill.
Well, Azumarill eventually. Azurill is like the middle one, and then Azumarill is
Oh.
is the higher one, which I gotta say I don't really understand. I don't understand what's happening there with naming wise, other than I guess like Mare MAR is like the ocean, right? And Azure is like blue. I don't know. Just trying to wrap my head around why these things are named what they're named.
Yeah, this one is not super clear to me. All right, our next Pokemon is number 673. Good
Oh my
ol'
god.
Go-Goat.
Go Goat.
Yeah.
Mark, do you think this is more goat or more go kart?
I am praying and hoping that it's the perfect amalgamation of the two, but
Uh huh.
I'm gonna guess that it's more. I'm gonna guess it's more goat. I'm leaning goat.
Okay. So what do you think the go part of it? Is it like a very fast goat?
I think okay. I know that we're not talking about this Pokemon, but I can see it prominently in the list. And number 672 is called a Skidoo or Skiddo, Skiddo. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering if the Go-Goat is associated with the Skiddo and you know, it and maybe I just have go-karts on the brain now, but it does make me think that it's like a fast goat.
Yeah, I mean, fast goat feels right to me. Is there go like Google? No, I don't know. I don't really have any other. I think go needs to refer to its speed.
Yeah. But I'm guessing this is not it doesn't look like a go-kart because if it did, that would be my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I feel like I would
Yeah,
have heard about
yeah.
it if it looks like a
No, I
go-kart.
look. I we got really excited at the possibility of a goat that is also a go kart, which I think you would just call a goat cart. um, but I think you're probably right that it is not that. It is probably more goat like than go kart like.
Mhm. It also sounds to me like something that would be a later evolution of something. Like I don't think a goat is the beginning Pokemon, the
Mm,
starter Pokemon.
sure. So that it's like slow goat, go goat, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Let's look it up.
Okay. And
Goat.
goat is a goat.
Yeah, we nailed that.
I don't really think we nailed anything else about it. So has very long horns, kind of I'm gonna go ahead and say like angry eyes, like that the face is almost badger like to me.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
And
It's got like the face markings, like the big like dark bags around its eyes, like a badger.
it has the furry coat has like almost three different levels to it. One is a darker brown, the middle is more of a like neutral brownish gray, and then it has these like zigzags at the top that are a more like earthy brown. But it's wearing this big green bushy, like literally like a plant, like a bushy scarf that is wrapped around its neck, but then also runs down the length of its back and is its tail. So I guess maybe it's more like a mane or something, or like a lion's
Yeah.
mane.
So the description on Bulbapedia says around its neck is the thick green leafy mane that extends down its back and ends in a short bushy tail. So it does have like a mossy coat or like a mossy mane of some kind. So like it definitely has like a mountain goat quality to it. Um, and it is a grass type, so you know we know that the plant part of it is part of it and not something that it's wearing, right? Like that's just part of who it is. um I do not think they are particularly fast.
Okay.
Go-Goat is known to have empathic abilities. What?
Huh.
Can sense the feelings of whoever grips its horns. Okay.
All right. I
uh
mean, I'm not doubting it, but goat?
Yeah, come on, Goat. Oh,
Yeah.
you can sense the feelings of people who grip your horns. That's just a gross thing you say to get people to grip your horns.
I'm giving us
Also,
half a
it
point.
yeah, that's good. Give us half a point. It evolves from the Skidoo, so it is an evolution. And you were right to notice the Skidoo or Skiddo. I'm gonna click on the Skiddo because I want to see what it looks like. Um, it's cute. It's cute when it's little. Oh, so it's Skiddo, like kiddo, because it's a
Oh.
child goat. It is
Mm-hmm.
a kid goat. Okay, all right. I'm piecing all this together. I like that. It's cute. Skiddo is cute. It is basically just like we described with the go goat, except it has smaller horns. I wonder if it too is empathic and can sense the emotions of anyone who grips its tiny horns.
Or if that's just something it gains with maturity.
I think that's probably right, because I do not see it mentioned here in the. As seen in the anime, milk from Skiddo can be used to make dairy products.
Okay.
Okay.
I
uh,
only eat Skiddo cheese.
well, and I only eat Skid almond cheese. All right, we're gonna. Here's a new Pokemon number 217, which is of course, oops, Ursa Ring. Ursa Ring is the name of it. Ursaing. Mark, I have a thought early on here, but I want to know what you're thinking.
I feel like there's something or like mythological about Ursa, right?
Well, Ursa is
It's a
just the
bear.
like
It's like a
it's a
bear.
bear, right?
Okay,
That means a
yes.
bear. Yeah. But like because there are like bear constellations, right? Like
Right.
Ursa Major, Ursa Minor. Um, so Ursa Ring. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Ursa Ring. Is this like a pro wrestling bear? Like is ring referring to like a fighting arena? I think this is a fighting type bear.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I'm totally on board. Let's go straight into checking.
Yeah, because that feels right in a way that nothing else we've reasoned our way to feels right.
Whoa, okay. It is a bear. It's a big old bear.
Uh huh.
And
Whoa,
it
he's
has
got just a big old ring
it
on it.
has we it's exactly what's on the tin. It's a bear
Yeah,
with
that's
a
right.
ring
That's
on it.
right.
No tricks to this one.
So I think because I messed up that fighting part so much, we should only give ourselves half a point on this one.
I hard difficult for me to do so, but I think that's probably true. Patrick,
Uh,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that it evolves from a teddy ursa, which I assume is just a the teddy bear version of it. Yeah, it's Mark. Have you seen the teddy ursa?
No, I will look it up now.
It's cute. It's cute. I don't know if this is breaking the rules in that we're looking at technically other Pokemon when we like move through the evolutions, but it's got like a little moon on its face. And in the image on
Oh, that is
Bulbapedia,
cute.
yeah, he's got like a little bashful face, like he's
Uh-huh.
covering his mouth.
And Patrick, I think it's allowable because we're thirsty for knowledge, and that's really what the point of this episode is.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I like this. I like this bear. It is a normal type. It's not fighting type, and that is a shame that I will take with me at least through the end of this episode. Um,
The ring does kind of seem superfluous as far as we can tell.
it does. It does. Superficial, if nothing
Yeah.
else.
Patrick, final two Pokemon?
Yeah. Let's do two more.
All right. Our next Pokemon is number 337, Lunatone.
Lunatone.
Do you think this is a moon that sings?
It could be a moon that sings. It could also be like a lunatic that paints.
Mm-hmm.
But I think moon is definitely Luna, especially in the name of a Pokemon, feels like a like the moon.
Well, maybe it's not a moon. Maybe it is something else that like has a moon on it. So, again, I'm
Like
thinking
the Teddy Ursa.
yes, exactly, exactly. So like maybe what I'm thinking is that I know we got it wrong last time when we went down this road, but I still believe it. I'm thinking it's like Zero from
Yeah.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it has like a moon face or like a big old moon on its head.
Sure. Well, and also like I like tying the moon to like a dog of some kind, like Howling at the Moon,
Oh, uh-huh.
werewolves, like all of that sort of lives in the same area. Um Lunatone. But maybe it is also I think you're probably right that like tone is probably referring to music, right?
Or like sound, or I guess the other thing it could be is like a play on like stone. So like Lunatone, like a moon rock, basically.
Sure. Okay. So either this is a rock type moon rock, or it's some sort of moon dog.
Yeah. That.
Let's look
Yeah.
it up.
So,
I think
okay.
I think moon. I like Moondog, and if there's any element of music, we can at least award ourselves half a point on it.
Oh,
Lunatone.
it's like moon with a like a crescent moon with a beak.
Wow. Yeah. So this one very literal in that it does just look like a crescent, like you say, a crescent moon with a beak. I'm not sure I get the tone part of it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand this. It is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, but it is considered to be a counterpart of Soul Rock. Oh, so is this? So Soul Rock is obviously a sunny bit of rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, Mark, I think you're right in that it is a moonstone. That tone is a play on stone because it is a rock psychic type.
I have to be honest, this is my least favorite Pokemon that we've seen so far. There's something
Yeah,
about its
yeah.
weird, like, bird beak and its beady
Mm-hmm.
little red eyes that I do not find appealing.
It has a deep set. It has deep set red eyes, which can cause paralyzing fear or induce sleep.
Second one for me, please.
Yeah, please. I will take the induced sleep. It lives in caves and becomes active under a full moon. So there's like the werewolf qualities. I think we earned half a point on this one.
I think that's fair.
All right. So now this will be our final Pokemon, number 436. 436, 436. Bronzor. Bronzor.
Okay, this is my initial instinct, and I think we should fight against it because those have not proven to be fruitful. But something with like bronzer, like self tan.
Mark, I don't think we can avoid that because that's exactly what I'm thinking. I think it is like a self tanning dinosaur. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It does.
Bronzor. I
It's
mean, or is it metal? Is this a metallic Pokemon?
okay. As much as I want it to be about self tanning, I think you're probably right that it is a metal Pokemon.
Yeah, or it is a perpetually in third place Pokemon.
Which would be sad. Well, I guess maybe not sad. We don't know how many Pokemon it's beating out.
Yeah, yeah, sure. There are 905 Pokemon according to the list that we're looking at right
Yeah,
now.
so to be
So
third is pretty
third,
good.
pretty good. I'd be stoked to be third out of 905. But what do you think are like the like animal qualities of this thing? Is
I
it
I, I think you're right. Like Bronzor kind of makes me think of like a almost like the Megazord from
yeah.
Power Rangers. And so I think you're right that it is kind of like a dragon, like big metal dinosaur type thing, like a dinosaur with metal plating or armor.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. A dinosaur of some kind with metal or some kind of self-tanning thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to look this up. It looks like, just glancing at this list, that there are other evolutions of it. So I don't know if it's going to be big at the time that we see it as Bronzor. But let's have a look.
Ooh boy. Patrick, you're not going to be happy when you see this.
Okay. All right. I see. Is this? It looks like a disc.
It looks like a baby's toy almost. Like it's a
I am baffled here.
it's a well, it's metal, presumably. It looks like it could be metal.
Sure.
It's a round disc, but it has 6 little like balls, bearings, maybe. I don't know.
Well, hold on. I can read the description from the biology
Okay.
section
Oh,
here.
perfect.
Which is approaching a lot of what you were saying. So you are doing a good job, Mark. But Bronzor is a flat, circular, blue-green Pokemon. 6 dark blue spheres bulge from its rim. It has 2 round yellow eyes and a large nose-like sphere surrounded by 4 small circles in its center. A crest resembling an herb or a branch is on its back. The crest is said to possess a mysterious power. This is a steel and psychic type, and it evolves. Yeah, it evolves into Bronzong at level 33, which, oh my gosh, Mark, click on through to the Bronzong because I need your help taking this in. I think it's like a bell. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it's like Rosie the robot from
The Jetsons.
the Jetsons. Its head, but upside down,
Mm-hmm.
with like rabbit ears.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like this at all.
You're right. It is a bell. So I'm looking. It is a bell. I'm looking at Pokemon.com's Pokédex, and it says, when angered, it lets out a warning cry that rings out like the tolling of a bell.
Ask not for whom the Bronzong tolls, it tolls for thee.
Absolutely. You know, I think that Bronzor is lucky that we just encountered the Lunatone, because I do not like the Bronzor, but I think I
Right.
like it marginally more than I like the Lunatone.
Yeah, well, and so I think we were right to pinpoint that it's made of metal.
Yeah, that was a
right?
good call.
And it's especially because we really had to resist the thought that it was a self-tanning Pokemon of some kind.
Well,
so I'm going to say
I'm gonna
what?
give us half a point, because there's
Oh,
nothing
okay.
there's nothing in the description that refutes that it uses self tanner.
This is a great point. So I think you're right. Okay. So Mark, let's total up our points here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right?
That's right.
So 13 half points. So we have scored 6.5 points on our quest to. Did we really only do 13?
Yeah.
You went first, and then we went back and forth, and we ended with me. We should have an even number. I think we have 7 points. If I had to guess.
Well, we really will never know.
Yeah, we will in fact never know. All right, Mark, let's close this out.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot too. I also don't think that we like crashed and burned in this as hard as I thought we were going to.
No.
Like it was pretty rare where we were like, I have no idea what this is. Ho-Oh maybe being like the only real exception there. I guess the Virizion we were also
there were also
in one direction.
Yeah, but there were also a couple that you nailed right off the bat. And
True.
I think even though there were some Pokemon that we didn't get right, we generated some great ideas for Halloween costumes. So that's a win.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to go as Two-Headed Santa Claus with you some year, Mark.
Me too.
It'll be great. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating on Spotify if you can. If you like the episode, please share it on Facebook or Twitter, wherever you share stuff. We appreciate it when you do. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can find more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying, when am I going to see a pro wrestling bear? I feel like that's not too much to ask. Thank you for listening.
I'm Brian Husky. I'm bald.
And I'm Charlie Sanders, and I'm also bald, and we host Bald Talk on the Campfire Media Network.
Bald Talk is the podcast where two bald comedians talk to anyone bald about being bald.
But this show isn't just for baldies, Brian. Harrows will love it too.
Bald Talk gets into vulnerability, vanity, insecurity, and self-acceptance, reminding us that we all have our respective bald spots. Not that bald spots are a bad thing.
No way. I mean, my entire head is one big bald spot.
It is one huge, beautiful bald spot, Charlie.
Get Bald Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
I mean, I have like a little bit of hair, but not like you. Like, you're really bald.
I'm truly bald.
Great. I mean, it's
I'm
great.
balder than you.
You are balder than me.
Only on Bald Talk. Campfire.